We like to dive into the strange, fascinating and often unexplored aspects of the world around us. For years humans have depended on water for their survival, so much so that in the early days of our existence, we could not survive unless we built our civilisations near lakes, rivers, streams or other bodies of water. In recent years though, divers have detailed their strange experiences while being in some of the most uncharted places on our planet. One person posted the following story to social media. He said the following: I worked with a guy who used to be a deep-sea welder. He also worked on various things in the ocean such as rigs, which would require him to dive deep beneath the ocean. We got talking one day as we shared a lot of things in common, as I used to do a bit of diving myself, and he told me about some of the strange things he witnessed while carrying out jobs. Due to the years of experience he had, he told me he could easily identify wildlife, and said he would often encounter things like deep-sea fish, sharks, along with various squid species. He told me that saturation diving pays well, but it's a job that carries its risks, and that this encounter made him think twice about re-entering the water. He said that on this one occasion he and a team was called out to a big job, which saw him and the team assembling and maintaining an oil rig and pipelines. While he was down there, each of the team had their positions. He detailed that the visibility wasn't great, and that it was overall a difficult job to carry out. He said that on day 5 of the job he got into position and started working, but after around 20 minutes, he kept on feeling something heavy touch his back. At first he thought it might have been another team member, but when he turned around there was no one there. His second thought was that it could have been a school of fish, going on to say that these structures are somewhat of an attractor for smaller species, as they act like protection for them. When it happened a few minutes later, he said he was able to get a glimpse of this thing, and said the only way he could describe it is that it looked like some type of squid. He detailed that the organism put him into a sort of trance, saying that it did this by changing shape and colour. He said that he'd never experienced anything like it before, as he was still awake and knew what was going on, but couldn't move a muscle. The reason that he said the organism was like a squid is because this is the only animal that he was aware of that had this type of ability, although he said that he'd never encountered anything that looked like this creature, and that had its abilities. He said that he's never gotten over the fact that this creature was able to paralyze him without touching him. When I asked whether anyone else had seen all of this unfold, he told me that he was behind a large piece of equipment that obstructed his view, saying that all of the other members of the diving team were working on areas of the rig that were out of view. So although the team was within the area, none of them saw each other. He also said that these structures are massive, and even if they were working close to each other, the visibility in the region that they were in wasn't great. He continued saying that once the creature approached him, getting within 10 feet, he said that it slowed down its coloration and stopped moving its body into different shapes, and once it did this he started to regain movements in his arms and legs. After the creature swam off, he said he had an incredibly painful headache and felt very dizzy. On the day of the encounter he said that everything was fine before he entered the water. He didn't complain of having a headache. He didn't have a drink or anything in his system that would compromise him, so he was sure about what he'd witnessed. When I questioned him on the size of the creature, he said that it was difficult to say. The only thing he said was that it was much bigger than him. He was certain that it wasn't a common squid species that he'd encountered before, saying that normally the areas where he worked had much smaller species, and that they didn't have the abilities that this creature had. He said he tried to research what this thing was, but every time he did he came up empty, being unable to find an organism that matched this one. He said I was the only person he told the story to, and that he was certain that if he told anyone they would judge him. He did admit that he got scared when he went back into the water, as this organism possessed the ability to control him, and it was something that really shocked him. Even though the encounter only lasted a minute or so, it was something that he didn't want to relive. He said the headache lasted around a week, and it was easily the worst headache he'd ever had before. After this experience, he said he never encountered the creature again, and that as of today he has no idea what it was he encountered. So what do you make of this interesting story, and what do you think it was that he encountered? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.